Welcome back to Distraction of Self and Drawing of Lessons for Self, and those of you who may want it. Yeah, I am still basing on the Daddy Lumba situation. As I was explaining, when your fundamentals are weak, they will expose you. Daddy Lumba was a very private man. I didn't know much about him. Patience, I didn't know anything about him. I did not even know he was married. I did not know he was a German citizen. I did not know he absconded from his marriage and came to settle in Ghana. I did not know that he married another woman even though he was legally married somewhere else. At first, we thought it was just a girlfriend, but the family says that it's marriage. Who am I to contend it? On what basis will I even do this contention? I cannot. So here goes. But you see, in his demise, the women have been made uncomfortable. And as I was explaining, the people who will bring this situation to the front are your very family members. It is your family members who will make the women uncomfortable. It is your family members who will make your children uncomfortable. It is your family members who will annoy the people in your system so that they will throw caution to the wind and decide to seek redress. Yeah. His wife has made many mistakes. And those of you who are married under ordinance like me, we have got a test case. We have seen a situation which exposes the weak fundamentals, and we've got to take note of certain things. Yeah? The first thing to note is this. I watched a video where somebody was telling the wife, well, marriage is till death do you part. Once he's dead, the connection between you, the contract between you is now null and void. And I'm like, ooh. Right. Thankfully, legalities don't work that way, and she may still be able to get some redress. But yeah, there are certain things, certain reasons why she's made herself very vulnerable. So I watched an Efia Schwarzenegger video where Efia was throwing some stuff that is going to be heartbreaking for this woman. But to be honest, you can't run away from them. One, Efia was saying that this woman wants to be acknowledged as the only widow so that she can be the only one at the funeral as a widow. I think there's a gray area. In Ghana, we've created a gray area. We have the traditional laws and we all subscribe to them and we all respect them. And then we have the legal laws that we are all supposed to subscribe to and respect. But yeah, oh, thank you, Cinderella. Thank you so much. We have the legals that we are supposed to subject ourselves to, but we don't subject to by default. Most of us subject to the traditional before we even think about the legalities. Yeah. When you go into, I have a family member whose funeral was in a very similar disarray. The wife brought her gifts to the family as her parting gift to her partner. And the family refused to accept it because they were not on good terms with her. And she brought these things to the funeral grounds and they were left on the floor for hours. People had to go and mediate before it was agreed, before she was then able to bring the things in. And this man did not have another wife. This man had only one wife. But even the one wife, the family determines how the funeral will go. Because in the Akan system, it is the man's family. It is the woman's family. It is your family who determine what happens. Some families are poor, and so they don't command a lot of weight. And so some spouses are able to bulldoze the process. But if the family is not poor, if the family has got strong elements, they will determine what happens. They will certainly determine the date of the funeral. And the date of the funeral is not really for the spouse to determine. It's not for the children to determine. The date of the funeral is done in consultation with a group of people. And yeah, yours may be one of the voices they listen to, but it's not going to be the only voice. Yeah, Mercy and Pat. It's not going to be the only voice. Anyway, if you wait until a man passes and you start litigation with them over arrangements for the funeral, you create a situation where you could end up being legally declared as the only spouse, but ending up as a toy at the funeral. They can toy with you. They can toy with you. Even the announcer at the funeral is brought by the family, not you. The funeral announcer is not yours. The funeral announcer is a family rep or a family employee. I've been to some people's funerals where they were given the mic and the DJ switched the mic off. The mic was working until these people snatched the mic and wanted to speak. Richard, yeah. They snatched the mic. They were ready to address the public, and the family was already ready. As soon as they snatched the mic, they disconnected the mic. They disconnected the mic from source. And so here they were in the middle of the funeral screaming, and nobody could hear them. You would be made into a joke if you end up in litigation with your spouse's family before the funeral. They will ostracize you. They will. So I heard Efia Shua say that who would you go and give the kuna to? The whole thing is supposed to be it's a syndicate. You are supposed to bring your gifts, and the family is supposed to receive your gifts. The family is supposed to honor your gift and to use your gifts within the funeral. But if you insist, if you take them to court, if you enter litigation with them, if you make them angry, they can decide to spite you. And there's nothing any court of law can do. And these are some of the reasons why I said that the woman leaving affairs until the man passed was probably not the wisest. She's left herself open. So let's go back to the injunction. I think, and this is what I think the court can certainly say that you are the only wife. And I think they probably will. But the court cannot tell the family how they should, or the court may even tell the family how they should do it. But the family, I'm not sure, is obligated the way our systems are, especially with this case where it is under the jurisdiction of the Asante. That's a big jurisdiction too. Hey, it's difficult for you to expect the law courts alone to override everything, including Asante-Hene's courts. So what is likely to happen is that she will be declared as the only spouse legally. Shehu, thank you so much. She will be declared the only spouse legally, and that is a win because she is then able to start claiming some property. She doesn't have a way around this. If she goes to the funeral and she allows the family to acknowledge 3 spouses, and she allows the family to decide how they are going to distribute assets, they are going to distribute against her favor. The family is already going to rule in favor of this Odobroni woman. Yeah. Let's go back to the ordinance and the marriage and the rest of it. Look, if something belongs to another person and they decide to throw it out into the open, it still doesn't belong to you. A man may have all the disagreements with his wife, but in this case, we have clearly seen he took no action to divorce this woman. He took absolutely no action to divorce this woman. That tells you something. He took no action to end this relationship with this woman. Some people said that he's been away from the home and the woman has abandoned her home for 17 years. But even last year, when he was celebrating his birthday, he stood and he acknowledged his wife, and he says that this woman cannot do anything evil to him. And he still, no matter how helpful a lot of you claim the new woman is, and who should come and wash his bum. And who asked you to come and wash his bum? Who asked you to? Who made you his bum washer? If it was my husband, I'd ask you the same question. Who asked you to wash my husband's bum? You have nothing better to do than to wash bums. Okay. The fact that a marriage is estranged does not mean it's ended. Yeah? The fact that a person has property and you like the idea of you dominating the property and inheriting the property, having 50 children for the man doesn't make any difference. The property is still 50-50 owned between the guy and his wife. What can be done is that she is giving her bit, 50% possibly, potentially. And then the rest of it is divided amongst all the children and all other stakeholders, yeah? Because that is the man's share of it. The woman's share of it cannot be shared for anybody else. No, the woman's share is not what her children get. My friend found himself in a similar situation. His dad had also gone and done it. And yeah, his mother was not the wife. His mother was the other woman. And eventually, similar to this, the other woman simply went and she established her position as the only spouse. The guy had a will, but she contested the will. We have seen cases where a man has stayed with his wife faithfully and diligently for years, and he left her chewing gum. Yeah. In his will, he left her chewing gum. That was so rude. That was so disrespectful. That was just unnecessary. And eventually, so this guy and his mother was the second woman. You haven't married them, Manuel. You are being an infidel. If you marry them, attempt to marry them, you have committed bigamy. And if your wife wants to have you prosecuted, she can. She can prosecute you for bigamy. So if you piss her off enough, if she's frustrated enough, and she wants to go after you, the first word she can use to chase you is bigamy. If you then go on and have children with this person, you've added another contention. Infidelity with proof. The children are the proof of your infidelity. And they can also chase you with infidelity with proof as grounds for divorce and separation of assets. So think very carefully. A lot of women don't know their rights. A lot of women have not known their rights. A lot of women are sympathetic to their husbands. They don't want to embarrass you. They want to wait until you are gone. No, no, no. Because we are seeing that letting you go, all these under the law, yeah. All these under the law. Go and look it up. Bigamy is a very easy one. You do a simple search for bigamy. You will understand. And yeah, we've seen some Africans done for bigamy in the UK in the last 5 years or so. Yeah. I think they were Congolese, the last ones that I remember. A Congolese couple. Again, those are assumptions, Marian. Assumptions. You know that a person can be ill for years and could even be impotent for years. And the wife could still live in the same house with him, and that marriage still stands. Intimacy is not the only validation of marriage, you know. A lot of us, we try and use common sense in the law. The law does not operate on common sense. The law operates on its own stipends. And the stipulations are very different from what you may think in common sense. So the fact that people, it cuts across countries. It cuts across countries, my dear. A Congolese man went and did this, married 2 other women in Congo. His wife didn't say anything. She sent people to Congo to go and attend the double wedding, to bring her pictures. The guy stayed in Congo for a bit. The minute he arrived in the UK, he received his summons from his own wife. The summons was in her hands. There was a person in the window with his camera. He says, these letters came for you when you were abroad. What letters? No, these are important. They are official letters. Open it. He opened it, and that was his summons. His wife took him for bigamy, and she did win. Of course, she did win. Let me take this back to the very beginning for us women. You see, some of us, we don't think. Why do you think that marriage was instituted in the first place? Good morning. Why do you think marriage was instituted in the first place? Let me tell you what used to happen. Men would meet women. They would not even have conversations with them. They would just download, and then they would abandon their children. And so women were not able to care for the children. And the community of elders decided, okay, listen, you men, you are no longer just going to download. You are going to be held responsible. You will have to stay with Wabre. You will have to stay with the women. They stayed with the women. Then they continued to have children. And the women discovered that staying with the men alone was not enough protection. You needed to be able to have protections in place. Everybody should start taking things very seriously, you know. Women and our rights were being trampled on, and that is why marriage was instituted. Marriage was instituted for the protection of women. But now, a few stupid women, and I use that word, allow men to brainwash you to waive your rights. Why will you let another person talk you into waiving your own rights? Why? Why would you? So he'll come to you, I don't believe in marriage. Okay, if you don't believe in marriage, then don't be married. Don't live with a woman long term if you don't believe in marriage. No, what they mean is they don't believe in the legalities of it, but they still want you to stay with him. They want you to be exclusive to him. They want you to serve him. They want you to wife to him. They want you to do everything else that a marriage should require you to do, but they will not give you the document. Think, if this Akosia Sewa woman did not have her marriage certificate, can you imagine how much more difficult her job was going to be? Yes, the division of assets is done in particular ways, and yes, the impact and the role played. But you see, the impact and the role played is not too difficult for me to explain. I have cooked your meals every day. I have packed your bag every morning. I have walked you to your car every morning. I have fielded every emergency with the children. I am the only one who takes the children to school. I am the primary caregiver. You are able to build your career with peace and freedom because I have given you that peace and freedom to do so. Because I take care of the children. Because I take care of the cleaning of the home. Because it's not that difficult for me to explain my impact in your life. A lot of you think that it's to do with whether I brought some of the money. No, I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't need to have brought a penny to the house you built. I can still be entitled to up to 50% of it. You made me quit my job so that I could come and take care of the children, so that you could then progress your career, so that you could get ahead in life and take us all with you. And then finally, last minute, you have decided that you are the only one who paid for the house and it should be given to just you. No, darling. No. Protection for women has gone way past that. Hi, Perlene. It's gone way past that. But you see, as I said, some of my sisters are being convinced to waive your rights. When a man tells you that he does not believe in marriage, agree with him and send him on his jolly good way. Don't let him do anything that is similar to marriage with you. Let him go because he doesn't believe in marriage, so he cannot have wifely duties done for him, full stop. If a guy believes in marriage, he should put a ring on it. He should have certificates. Hey, what did I do with my rings? I've not worn my rings for 2 weeks. I did not even know. Thank you. Hey, thank you. This is me like put a ring on it. I hope I haven't thrown it away. I hope it's in my bag. Yeah. He needs to put a ring on it. And when he puts a ring on it and he puts the certificate on it, that is when you and him have a contract. That is when you cook his meals. That is when you warm his bed. That is when you rear his kids. That is... The law was made for the protection of the woman because men were assholes. They were not treating women right. They were taking advantage, especially in the 70s in the US. There was a lot of landmark rulings. Women who were uneducated, who, especially men who were in insurance, and funnily enough, lawyers. They had these high-flying husbands, and the high-flying husbands took care of the home. They provided the money. And these women were homemakers. 15 years into the marriage, the man will suddenly come to you and tell you that he has met a new model and that he no longer wants you and that it's time for you to go somewhere else. And a lot of the women in that episode ended up not being able to even put a roof over their heads. There are some men who came with bailiffs and had the women's things thrown out. I watched the movie and I was a very young kid. I couldn't even tell you the name of the movie. But the guy was a lawyer. He came. He said the van could be for the woman. The van was only used when they were going on holiday. So she could have the van. They packed her and Kuku Nankaka into the van. And then they told her to drive. That's all she got. No, women experienced that. And then people sat down and thought, how stupid, how unfair. No, we are no longer going to permit this. And so that's how the laws have been built. Sisters, for your own protection. So explain to me why some of you are in such a hurry to waive your own rights. Why is it that you don't want protection? Explain to me why. You want to have 6, so the second woman in this issue has 6 children with this guy, and he's now gone. Yo, the best I anticipate she will get is a house. I think she might get a house. If she gets a house, if she's lucky, she might get a business. But it's still her who's going to have to work this business to pay the school fees for 6 children. Yo, yeah, life is about to discipline this girl. She's going to discover some truths about adulting that she hasn't discovered up to this point. Yeah. I had 2 children, only 2. Whilst I had a profession going. Whilst I was sharing this responsibility with their father. But what has passed between my 2 eyeballs on this journey, raising these 2 children, I see people with 3 children, 4 children, 5 children, and I shake my head. I doff my hat off to you, because what is coming, it is not easy. It is not easy. It will not be easy for you. Believe me. Breathe. Anyway, listen. My suggestion is that if a guy says that he wants it, you play that Beyonce song for him. If you want it, put a damn ring on it. Put a damn ring on it. Grant me a certificate that confirms that I am who I am in your life. And it is easy to establish that in any other place. Akosia Sewa brought her marriage certificate. Mano, what did you smoke? What did you smoke? Again, see, I identify with this Akosia Sewa woman a lot. I think she's older than I am. But she's been married about the same length of time-ish, give or take, that I've been married. She will have children who are of a certain age, I am sure. And I can tell you on good authority, me, having raised my 2 children, I am done. I am tired. Who is going to adopt whose illegitimate children? So that who will pay for them? And why would she want to do that? Man or Pepper. Why would she want to come and adopt some illegitimate children that her husband had? So that her little bit of money, instead of going for her personal enjoyment now that she's a widow, goes into caring for children. I hear the youngest of the children is a 3-year-old. Bear. My husband will tell you, me, everybody in my life, I am quite vocal about these things. There is no way I will adopt nobody. I even tell my children, if the children go and have children, they will have to start adulting and parent those children, because me, I will not parent their children for them. I am already done parenting my own children. Joke. Yes, Mary Christian, you see, what she's doing is a test case. The way her case ends should teach us all a lot of lessons. But the lesson that is most important is that if you have the legal rights, exercise them in due time. Don't wait until we get to funeral, where there is a muffle between the legals and the traditional. At that time, your rights are difficult to enforce. She should have actually exercised her right when the man lived, taking the guy to court, claimed her share of the estate, and walked off into the bride's son. Ejoke, me too, I want somebody to adopt me. Hey, can you imagine? You go and shake your nyash and have your children, and you feel entitled to somebody else's adoption. And I have heard loads of people suggest it. As the elder of the 2 women, and I'm like, hey, me, I am now classified as the elder of women. But I can tell you, this elder is not about to take nobody's responsibility for what? Honey, sweet baby child. This elder is looking for money to go to Zanzibar in December. That's what this elder wants to do. I want to go to Zanzibar. I have worked for this money. I should spend this money. Manuel, everybody should learn. There are many women in Ghana who get themselves in situations. Bigamy is a crime. But sadly, a lot of our women don't know this. And so it is done to us. And instead of you going to protect your rights, many of us end up crying instead. When you encounter a bigamist, It is illegal. Trying to find something to support the phone. But the phone will not be supported. Yeah. Anyway. Boy. Me, I'm trying to go to Zanzibar. Yes, I want to spend on me. I have worked hard myself. I don't even now want to spend my money on my children. No. When we finish paying university fees for my children, that is it. They need to go and live their best lives. Make decisions and pay for decisions. I won't even pay for my children, and you want me to come and pay for somebody else's illegitimate children. Can you imagine? Again, Shehu, we can talk about a lot of things. Pendency of a marriage is a very technical term. She's still married. So what term are we discussing pendency? There are many people who remain married, but they live in different places, and the marriage is not in contention. So even the distance between them alone is not enough. Bah, Manuel. You have a child somewhere else, and you bring that child for me to raise. You are out of your damn mind. Do you know how difficult it is to raise children? Huh? This is a conversation I've had with my little sister over time. And I would say to my sister, I don't bring anybody to my home. The only people who have ever made it into my home were staff. Even those, I found that they were confused sometimes. And when I found them confused, I sent them on their jolly old ways. Family members don't stay in my house. I don't want to create pseudo entitlements. I don't. And if you see how I discipline my children, yeah, you should see me disciplining my children. You will clap for me. It is a full-on performance. Nobody questions that. Why? Because it is my children. And my love for my children is not in question. The same love that I have for the children is what creates the urgency to correct. Can you imagine bringing somebody else's kid into my house? If I attempted to correct that kid the same way I will correct my own children, we will go to court. I will be in jail. Why? Because I will be accused of not wanting, of not doing, of not being. Again, Manuel, it was done in Ghana at the time because women were cornered. The man owned the house. He owned everything. The woman didn't own anything. And so he calls the shots, and she has to simply make do. That's how a lot of these men brought their children. Their wives were not wives. Their wives were maids. They were not even glorified maids. They were simple maids. Twosome, threesome. Okay. Okay. Again, it is your choice if you allow your rights to be waived. If you permit your rights to be waived, it shall be waived with glee. Yeah, me. Hey, you should come and see me disciplining. There's none of my cousin's children who will permit me to discipline them in the same way without complaints. They will go and complain very soon. And very soon, all of you would hear me. You will hear of me on the internet. How evil I am. How terrible I am. How unfair I am. If you permit your rights to be waived, it will be waived for you. And you shall cry. Those who want to waive your rights, they were born ready. So if you give them the go ahead, they will waive it for you. Beautifully. Beautifully. And yeesh. Your rights shall be waived beautifully, and ye shall cry. Yeah. The marriage was valid until his demise. She has a lot of rights. She can exercise those rights. But like I said, she has left some of those rights to now go into waffle. Her rights under the funeral are going to be difficult. She wants to be named the only widow, and so the only person in the funeral. I don't think the law can guarantee her that. Kwaminti, you want to visit a hospital? I'm in hospital. Yeah. Now, the family is going to show her shege. Oh no, this education is good for me because it allows me to take my mind off my pain. Again, look, Joke, everybody will have to come to a conclusion that you can live with. Me, I cannot tolerate 1 dime of my earnings to be spent on another woman and her children. I refuse. I refuse that another woman and her children will be brought into a house that I jointly own with my husband. And so the day I discover such a third woman in such a space belonging to me, you best believe I will find the best lawyer there is in the land. I will commission that lawyer aggressively, and I will pursue whoever is in that house legally out of my damn edifice. And then we will separate assets. If my husband wants to buy me out, he can pay me for my house. If I want to buy him out, I can pay him for his house. And then we settle it. That's why it's difficult, frankly. Yeah. The dead belongs to the family. And it's the family and their norms that, and the law will struggle. The law will struggle. Yeah. Yeah. Me, I will find the best lawyer in the land. I don't think any of you watching me think I am joking, because I'm not. I will get the best lawyer in the land. I will pursue both of you with aggression. I will separate assets thoroughly, and I will take my own share, sticking a middle finger in the air and going to sit somewhere else in peace. If he wants to give you his share of it, that's fine. I don't mind, but he will not let you enjoy the proceeds of my sweat. If I don't know, then I don't know. But the minute I know, yeah, that's the lesson for a lot of women. When you find your husband is an infidel, don't let people talk you into respect his legacy. You know, he is a very important man. Can you be patient a little bit? The Lord will do. No, the Lord exposed it to you for a reason. That day, you should go and seek counsel. If this woman got divorced before Daddy Lumba died, she would have been guaranteed more than she will get under all this waffle now. Yeah. She will have to spend a lot of time in court in order to be able to get her entitlements. But what should really happen is that she should receive her share of the estate, separate from Daddy Lumba. Then all Daddy Lumba's children should be settled on the Daddy Lumba's share of the estate. Yeah, that is what should happen. Hello. Thank you. Good morning. Yeah. Oh, the tea looks very nice and warm. Thank you. Yeah. My food food this year. I have been so dehydrated and I have been starved of food for so long. When I am able to eat, I want to do it quickly before the other elements begin their thing again. Yeah, Victoria, Facebook is not distributing it the way they used to. So if you want to see my feed, you actually do need to commit to search for the feed. You must go on my page and actually search. Of course, Mano, there are a lot of men who enter into these relationships with women, and in their simple minds, they are just placating the women. No. In the hands of the right woman, a marriage certificate means a lot. If a woman doesn't know their rights and they just mess about with it, then yeah, it may give you the chance to do anyhow with them. But if a woman knows what their rights should be, a marriage certificate is a very important document. Again, shehu. So you think men haven't done this before? Yeah, like I said, there was a very important case in Ghana where a man, a very prominent, very wealthy man, in his will, after 37 years of marriage to this woman, gave her one bubble gum, chewing gum. That is what he gave. Spitting on her, kissing on her. And this man had had a stroke for years. This woman had been the one. Yeah, they didn't have a great relationship for a while. The guy was frolicking with other women. But then when he got the stroke, guess what? Everybody ran away and they sent him to his wife. He was suddenly his wife's problem. Okay, fine, no problem. Only for him to die and for her to find that she was left a bubble gum. Her son was a lawyer. The son was mad. And so he supported his mom to seek redress. Even the business that this guy had established, it turns out the seed money was from the woman and her family. But being an a-hole, the way he was, he offered her one bubble gum. One gum. There are other people who, bonjour, Alian, comment ça va? Yeah, Joker, go and get some sleep. Go and get some sleep. You know the recordings are always here. Me, it is morning here. So I have all the time in this world to sit around and to talk to you guys. Yeah. I need to figure out how better. Okay, cool. Yeah. Men have always been smart. It's me and the sisters who are not always smart. And so the sisters have to start realizing that if you are not careful, you will be made to cry. So at all times, you better have your kulu kulu eye open. When I make these videos, people are like, Amma, why are you so pessimistic? I'm not pessimistic, I'm realistic. I don't think Lumba's wife, when they were first getting married, had any idea that the guy was going to turn around and do what happened in the end. Some of you think that service to a man gives you entitlement. Bah! In the 17 years that he's been ill, who do you think has been putting his clothes on? Nurses have been doing that for a long time, but they have not been entitled to any property. You should come and see these nurses. Sister Mimi, come and see these nurses and see how they are serving me. There was a time a nurse actually even took me to the hospital and to the toilet and sat me on the loo. Yesterday I was given a bedpan. I mean, how more intimate can you get? Will that nurse suddenly be entitled to some of the money from my estate? Explain in annotated diagrams and let's see if I can understand you. I saved him. His wife was nowhere to be found. His wife was busy living her best life. Whilst you had nothing to do with your time. That's your problem, not hers. Yeah. And you have said it exactly right. It is better to be very clear to all the factors that play in your affairs. It is very important to make sure that all those factors have got clarity. Thank you, Sister Mimi. Thank you so much. Where was she when he was lying in his hospital bed? Yeah? If you have nothing to do with your time, most people will take services you offer. And when you hear some of these things told to you the way I'm telling you, it's painful, but it's true. You are the idiot who had nothing to do with your time. So, you were here cooking. As I said, the nurses are cleaning my backside. They are providing me gourmet food. When we finish, are they entitled to something from my estate? Please explain. If you didn't offer the service, she may have found a nurse and paid her to do the job. Or even better, you may have discovered that he's a family man and he needed to go back home. To where his wife and children are, where support may be available. Yeah. Anyway, listen. This is the lesson I have for you, sisters. The ring and the marriage certificate are for your protection. Repeat after me. The ring and the marriage certificate are for your protection. Some of you were born with those rights, so you don't remember how hard people fought to get you that. You were born with the right to vote, so you take it for granted. Some time ago, women couldn't vote. Men determined everything for them. And when that happened, women were in trouble. So don't be in a hurry to waive your rights quickly and let anybody go back to positions that we have fought so hard to remove you from. Don't let anybody turn you into a baby-making machine. It is disrespectful to you. But in the second instance, apart from disrespect, it is also detrimental. It's a very detrimental position to find yourself. Let your marriage certificate protect you. And if you find that you no longer have a marriage, don't sit and watch. At that time, quickly go and find good legal counsel and let them help you to separate assets and give you your share before they go to have 6 other children. If she got divorced before these children were born, the separation of assets would have been completely different from how those assets will be distributed now. Yeah. Stephen, good morning to you. Yeah. Now there are so many factors in. Yeah, no. It would have been so much easier. To divorce. And at this time, she could have gone as a guest to his funeral. My friend attended her ex's funeral. I'm in Abu Dhabi, Maria. I'm in Abu Dhabi. My friend went to her ex's funeral, and she went there as a guest. She participated in nothing. She paid for nothing. They were told that it is the children who buy the coffin, and she contended. The children are young. The children don't have money. No. It is up to your family to decide how you are going to help your children to bury their dad, not me. And so they did. On the day she came without an entourage, she brought the children. She sat the children amongst the family, and she removed herself from the family, and she went to sit in the crowd where the guests were all seated. Yeah. Oh, Kate, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. She put her children in amongst the family. Her children were sat in a place, so her children were there in the space where children should be. But she was not in a spouse position. She was not seated even behind the children. The family were trying to tell her that she needs to sit behind the children so she can offer them support. She made her sister sit behind the children, and she removed herself. Oh, wow. Victoria, please do go and get some rest. This video will be here in the morning when you wake, yeah? And she went to find somewhere to sit. You know why? Because she was divorced. They were divorced. But I also have other friends whose marriages had also disintegrated, who had stupidly hung on to the marriages until the guy passed. And the family members all forgot. They were all privy to the difficulties in the marriage. They knew that they had been separated for a few years. The family did not care. She was the spouse. She had to take the body from the United Kingdom and bring their body to them in Ghana. They insisted. They threatened her until she couldn't. So she gave in to send the body to. It was her responsibility to bring the things that would be used to wash the body. And her children had the responsibility to buy the coffin and all these other things that were required of a spouse. But she was no spouse. She was no different from my other friend. Her marriage had finished. The only difference is she hadn't had the common sense to conclude it. When the marriage is finished, my sisters, this is Okorua, how are you doing? When the marriage is done, smell the coffee, my sisters. Wake up and smell the coffee. Don't lie to yourselves. It won't help you. If a guy has abandoned you for more than a decade, you should be divorced. You should be divorced. You don't know him. You don't know what he's doing anymore at that point. You should be divorced. Go to court and let them give you your redress. And go and live your best life, so that you don't end up having to transport bodies of people you have no association. He was living with a Zimbabwean girl, this one. But the family suddenly did not know the Zimbabwean girl. They told my friend that their son was married to only one woman, which was her. If she had allowed her husband to go out of the home for a break, that was entirely between the two of them. As far as they were concerned, she was the spouse they knew, and she was the one they would deal with to get the body of their son across to Ghana so they can have a good bonyo party. Yeah. Ngozi, you sit there. Your foolishness will cost you a lot of money. Your foolhardiness will cost you a lot of heartache. Family members who know the truth will suddenly forget it when it is time for them to disturb your peace. And you will not have a foot to stand on when that time comes. You know why? Because you let things fester. You don't conclude affairs. You don't finish issues. You are afraid to be decisive. Okay, don't know what people will say. Well, he's gone, so let him be. If he's gone, why are you on paper his companion? He's gone. Why is it that you and him, apparently on paper, live in the same location? Why is that a document that says that when we can't find him, we can come to you? Why would you make yourself liable for that, sisters? Why? This is the mistake of Akusia Sewa. And all of you should see what it is causing for her and how much of her peace, her sanity, and her philus is going to cost her. That mistake is going to be very expensive. Remaining married when the relationship is finished. It's a foolish position. So don't do it. The minute the relationship is finished, there is no marriage. End it. End it. End it. Tin tan 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 tum. End it. Let everybody go their way. If his funeral comes, go and buy the best sunglasses like my friend did and go sit there. She was not even sitting on the front row where people could greet her in the power. She was sitting on the third row. So people will see her, they'll point and she'll wave. Yay! Yeah, that's all you want to do. Yeah. When they were distributing food, they came to get her to go and offer her food as a guest. And she made a financial donation to the family like all other guests to help them defray the cost of their funeral. And that's the end of the issue. It's better that way. Much better that way, my dear. It's better that way. Anyway, hopefully, these two videos have explained things to you in ways sisters receive sense. Marriage certificates were not brought from people's back end. People had seen issues in the community, and that's why marriage certificates were brought in as a protection for the women. Why will you want to waive on that right? When you are married and things are not working, you can also seek divorce. And bigamy is more than enough grounds to seek divorce. Infidelity with proof is enough to seek redress. Even abandonment and absconsion. Absconsion and abandonment could all be grounds for seeking redress. Do go and seek redress, and don't sit there and watch people play with your rights. Those who have fought for your rights will be so annoyed to see your foolishness. Those who have given everything up so that you shall be protected will be so annoyed to see your stupidity. So receive sense, my sisters. Me, I have received my own. Now I know. I love my husband to bits. There's a girl who is on the internet. She had a husband who became permanently disabled after an accident. She divorced him, and so that he could get social care. But then at that time, she was early 20s. She thought about it. She also wants to have a chance to have a family and to have children. And so she was now divorced. She found another guy. She married this guy. And both of them have sort of become pseudo-carers for her ex-husband. When they go to pick him, they bring him to their house. The children are in. They talk to him. They interact with him. He seems to really enjoy his interactions with these people. And she's moved forward. I remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. The African woman in me was screaming, why would she do that? Why would she not stay loyal? Now I have sat down and I have thought. And I have realized that if the foot was on the shoe was on the other foot, it's likely the man would have made the same decisions. Why should she stay with a disabled man and give up on her chance to have a life? For better or for worse. Okay, I hear you. She decided she didn't want again. So these people, they have the bravado to make decisions that work for them. Whilst me and my sisters, we are sitting here. Hey, Sister Jennifer, how are you doing? Yeah. Jennifer J and Jennifer Mantiao, how are you doing, sis? Fifi Wilberforce and Kofi Lanyo. Yeah. Thank you, Shehu. Thank you. I hoped that this conversation was not really about the people. Team this, team that. There's no need. As for the second woman, I feel sorry for her. Because if this first woman is clinical, if she's clinical, she will walk off with very little. If you are not lucky, and your husband's first wife is a mad woman like me, who is very clinical in enforcing her rights. I know, and me, I owe no allegiance to you or your children. People will come and solicit all they want. It won't make any difference. You didn't think about me and my children when you were snatching my husband from me. I will have nothing to think about when it is time for me to snatch my properties from you. You had no sympathy in snatching my husband. I have no sympathy in snatching my property. It's that simple. If it makes your children homeless, well, that is their parents' problem, and I'm not one of their parents. The husband is gone and you are the only living parent. Well, that's your problem. That's a you problem, not a me problem. And that is mean. Okay, me, I'm mean. I'm mean. Affluency. That's awful. Yeah, me, I am awful. Thank you, Dina. Thank you so much. I'm awful. Okay, fine. And all those things are true. But in the end, I am still going to claim what is my fair share. I'm going to protect my rights. And I'm going to have absolutely no sympathy for you. But your children knew my children, and so what? My children knew your children, and so what? Maybe even me. I had your children run around for me. You and your children want to be maid servants. I'm quite happy to use free servants. You can run around after my husband and my kids, and even me sometimes. were well compensated, living in my house, doing what you wanted at the time. Yeah. But yeah. No, I don't owe her a thing. Yeah, Pam. I don't owe her a thing. And there are some of you who expect to come and lobby women like me to have mercy. Don't do it. You will cry. You will cry. It will bring you tears. Don't do it. So, I'm not on any team. I don't want to disrespect anybody. If you want to know what I said about the men and how they can put their house in order, watch the first part of this video. There are 2 parts. Yeah. If you want to see the women, this video addresses all sides. Yeah. A maid servant is not a wife. A good servant is not even entitled to part of an estate. Yeah. A lot of you and the side check positions people put you in just makes you servants in their homes. Yeah, with no entitlements, with no rights. Again, my sister, don't let any man strip you to that point. Don't permit them to do it. As for them, and I don't blame them, who wouldn't like to use a fool? I won't mind, and I'm sure even you won't mind. If there's a fool who wants to serve, why not? There's a fool who wants to make your life easy, why ever not? But don't be that fool, okay? Do not be that fool. And yeah, now I'm very tired. I need to go and do some sleeping and some resting when I wake up again. Oh, Sheila, I had surgery 11 days ago. It was going all right, and then I started picking infections. So I'm here. I am running IVs on the hour. IVs of everything. I kid you not. I'm trying to eat so that I've got something in the belly to run all these meds. But the amount of medication I had pumped into me in the first 3 hours of coming here. I went home, Sheila. I did. And then I picked up an infection and I ran back. So here I am, lying back here. Thank you, Lebanon. Thank you. Thank you. But whilst I'm lying here, Regina, I wanted to pick some facts for you. Let me conclude. The body belongs to the family. There isn't much you can do about it. Even if a court rules that you are the only wife, it does not give you rights to the body. The only option she has is to go petition the Germans and recall the body to go to Germany. But if she did that, I'm sure the family would eat her eyeballs. But if she wants to have monopoly of the funeral, that's what she's got to do. But that would be unfair to the guy. He will miss out on his state funeral and all these other things. And so what is likely to happen is that she stays here. But if she stays here, it is the family who is organizing the funeral. And I heard Efia Schwarzenegger say that they will call all the 4 women who have had children with him. I've seen it done before. Even women who were not wives were brought in and paraded. Yeah. But when you leave it till this time, these are some of the potential happenings. Yeah. If a marriage is not working, end it. End it completely, totally. Take your assets and run. And let the guy live his best life after that. Wish him well and let him wish you well. Don't let a man turn you into his servant, promising you this, promising you that, because most of it is jazz. This house is for you. His wife can still turn around and contend it. Especially, I heard that when he left Germany, there was 100,000 euros of a debt to be paid there. And if it's this woman who has stayed in Germany to pay this debt, And if this debt had anything to do with the properties acquired, why, my friend, he could have gifted it to you, but the person who wants to take it from you can slap you with their left hand and take it. The person cannot give to you what does not belong to them. So he may have gifted it to you. But if the wife can prove that it did not belong to him to gift, you don't have a leg to stand on. Huh? Yeah. Anyway, put your houses in order, men. The cracks you leave will come back and expose you big time. I learned that lesson at my own father's funeral, whilst we were distributing 4 different colors of a brochure for one man's funeral. 4 different brochures for one man's funeral. Taught me a few things. Hopefully that story teaches you some and you don't find yourself in that position. Yeah, Margaret. You want to make sure that your house is in order. Your house should be in order before you are called home. Mariatu, thank you, sis. You should not run away and leave things for others to sort out for you. You would not like what they do. Well, if you could not sort your own affairs, you cannot blame me for not sorting it out for you. You cannot blame me for not sorting it out for you when you yourself did not sort it out for yourself. Anyway, I need to try and eat some more. I need to get off my back and walk some. I will see you guys later on in the day. Hey, Belinda and Dupsy, how you doing? Let me go and get, Akanki, how you doing? Let me go get some breakfast sorted. Maybe get some medication in because I'm feeling cold again. This thing is awful, you know. It's taken my entire week and a half. I've done nothing productive. Anyway, Gina, I'll be back on in the afternoon, yeah?